And good afternoon. Hi, Linda. Hey, Benisa.
Hi, Anna.
So
Oh,
hello.
What's
good.
going on?
Everything is good. Well, Benisa, this is Linda. Linda, this is Benisa.
Nice
I,
to meet you, Linda.
I can't see you, but maybe I'm not supposed to.
I'm working from home, so trust me, you're not supposed to.
Okay, no problem.
Well, Linda and I go way, way back. I mean,
Yes.
we're avid runners. I mean, I called her this morning. She's like, Paul, I just came back from my run. I'm like, hey, I just came back from my run too. So we
Yep.
were at
That's
Cabo
awesome.
together years ago. Well,
Avid
as
runners, avid realtors, same avid
same.
everything.
Yeah, sure. And I'm delighted to have Linda here. And thank you so much, Linda, for coming. As the audience begin to pile in, I like to do a little bit of a video or something before uh,
hmm
arrive. But for now, we're just going to share our screen and just kind of get ready for the presentation. We've got about 10 slides to get through perhaps today, but it's going to be very good. We're going to talk about how to get into the luxury market. And, this is something that's very interesting because getting in the luxury market is not something that's easy. There's 10 specific traits that you should have as a realtor. And we are going to talk about them today. You're going to walk away with a lot of value. So as you're getting ready to see what we're about to talk about, I want you to get pen and paper, even though this is being recorded. Benisa is going to provide you with the recording afterwards, but you want pen and paper because Linda is a rock star. I mean, over 850 transactions. You have no idea. I'm going to have her just kind of introduce herself a little bit. For those of you who don't know, this is Successful Business Academy. We work with Agent Locator Benisa, and we're here for your success. I'm Paul Atkinson, the author of the Five Steps to the Sale and the CEO for Successful Business Academy. You scan that code and you can learn more. We've just installed an amazing AI chat bot. You could go to that website there and you click on the link and you chat with a very intelligent AI and ask any questions you want. Like, how do I learn sales? And it'll tell you. So, Linda, take a moment, just tell us a little bit about yourself. So the audience is coming in. I mean, you can see the numbers; it's rising. But just tell us before we get started. We have 10 things to tell them. But what should they know about you, and why are you qualified to tell them this?
Well, I've been in the business 21 years. I started in '03, got divorced, two young children, and started selling real estate full time out the gate. Became successful pretty early on, rookie of the year for Coldwell Banker when I started my first year in '03, and have been selling ever since. Love what I do. It's a passion, it's a passion of mine, top passion besides my kids. And I've built my business over the years and it's evolved over the years, rolling with the punches. Real estate's always changing. You have to be able to change with the changes and be willing to adapt to the changes and just grow from there.
So true. So true. And you know what's funny? Both Linda and I started the same year. Same for me, 2003. I mean,
So,
we still live in the same community. It's like, it's like my sister here. Okay. I really love you like sister. Thank you so
exactly.
much. Guys, I want you to know that what you're about to get today is about the next 45 minutes of very impactful and useful information. If you're here because you want to see an increase inside of your real estate business or your sales business, for that matter, you are going to get a lot of information. So be ready to go. So, Benisa, I know normally we would have a little bit of participants, but for today, we could take three people, if you would show your hands, three people that as we get towards about maybe slide number 6 or fact number 6 or 7, we're going to bring those people up and kind of like get a feel from the audience or from those three people or what they're taking away so far. And then as we get to the fact number 10 towards the end, where we're going to have the Q&A and the open mic, it's going to be phenomenal. So stick around all the way to the end. Benicia, is that okay?
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, so get three. All right, Linda, let's roll. Let's do it.
All right,
So,
let's do it.
as a luxury real estate agent, right, there are several things that you really, really need to have in your hands in order to do this, right? This is a specialized market. I mean, but let's define luxury. What is luxury real estate? Linda, we've been doing real estate for more than 21 years. You know, you have $200,000 property, you have $250,000 property, you have $5 million. How do you determine what is a luxury real estate agent specialist? What number would we say?
You know, it's changed with the times because I know over the years, like back in the day, they might have said 5 or 750. Then it went to like 1 million. Now, since COVID and the pricing going up, I think I would say, I mean, I think anything over 1 million, but 3 million and up even because there's so many homes that have gotten so much higher. So, I mean, I think I would say maybe in the 3 million and up range.
Wow. So there you go. Write that down. If you're going after something that's like 3 million and up in today's market, then that would be considered luxury. And for most of you that are in Canada, you've got a normal property for you is like $1.2 million. I know. I work with you guys all the time. But now, how do you get to more than that? How do you get to 3 million?
Paul, I'm sorry, can I interrupt you for a second?
Sure, absolutely.
There is something on the slides. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if you are seeing it correctly, but there's something that it's showing besides the presentation. Maybe you can stop sharing and share again.
Yeah, let's try that. Yeah. Is there like, how does it look? What are you
It's
guys
like,
seeing?
there's like a little square, there's squares on
Yeah.
it that bring up the verbiage.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. So let's get that off the screen. Now tell me once it leaves, and then let me see, quick start. Okay, save. Okay, now is it off the screen?
Oh, we're not seeing anything yet.
Oh, okay.
You need to share first.
All right, I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, good. Let's get back to this. How is that?
Now,
Yep,
Clean cut?
we're good.
yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. So let's continue on. All right. So what we're saying right now is let's just rewind just a moment. What is the luxury definition? Well, 3 million and up. One of the things we know is in the Canadian market, most of you that I'm coaching and talking to, you're discussing like, oh, I'm submitting offer 800,000. I'm submitting 1.2, 1.4. The normal number I'm hearing from the Canadian agents are 1.3 to 1.5. So what if we were to take you to 3 million? What in the world should you have? 10 facts. 10 facts. Number one. So here's how we're going to do it today. I'm going to go off and kind of read through this, and then Linda is going to just kind of like zoom in and say, Paul, you know what? This is what I know from this fact. So, number one, exceptional.
Can I say
Sure,
one thing real quick?
sure,
So
sure.
as we all know, real estate is hyper local. So when I say that number, I'm talking more South Florida
Yeah.
than, I don't know, obviously the Canadian market. So it's because it's so hyper local, I'm really talking about our area specifically as opposed to Canada or even like North Florida, because it's so different in different areas. Just what we've experienced here, like going from 1 million. So it could even be like 2 million. So it just depends on the area. I just want to reiterate that.
Thank you so much, Linda. You're right. And anybody that wants to go from where you are now, or even just starting out as a brand new realtor, how do you deal with a client that's like a million and up, 2 million, 3 million? Number one, exceptional communication skills. And we want you to write that down and ask yourself, do an assessment on yourself. What are my communication skills like? But we're going to define each one of these topics just a little bit more. So, the ability to communicate effectively and eloquently is essential when working with a high net worth individual. So, you must be able to clearly articulate the property details, market trends, and negotiate with finesse. Linda, so many years I've seen the listings. I mean, you've gotten like $5 million, $14 million, and like these are big, big numbers. What is it like to communicate with these sellers? What do you experience?
I mean, you're definitely dealing with a different kind of person because these people, obviously, they have money because they're successful, they're intelligent, they do their homework, they tend to think they know everything. So you deal with a lot of that. So you really have to be sharp, and you really have to know your facts. You have to know the market trends. You have to know the area, all the information that they would want to know from you. Even if they think they know it, you want to know it better than they know it, so that you can present it to them in a way that they're going to believe and understand from you. They have to trust you, trust your knowledge, trust that you are going to be able to sell this property for them. You know what I'm saying? So you really have to, you have to give your value proposition of your knowledge and your expertise. I mean, another thing is they're very demanding. A lot of them are very demanding, and it takes a lot of time,
Yeah.
phone calls, meetings to to promote their properties. They want a lot of promotion with, some are old school, they still want a lot of print. They want internet, all the different facets, brokers opens, high-end brokers open. So you're doing a lot more to promote these properties. So you
Nice.
really have to present yourself and say, and give your value proposition, give your marketing plan. I give a 20-step, marketing plan of what I'm going to do to promote these properties, things that are different than what you would do for a $500,000 property, an $800,000 property. So you really have to set yourself apart and show your value to them.
If you were to just say, Linda, you know, there's 20 steps that you use. You don't have to give us your secrets because that's
Yeah,
great. I know that.
yeah.
But tell us some of the things that you could differentiate to say, you know what, my 20 step is different. Few things out of my 20 step is different than the 500,000. What would that be? What would it?
And it depends on the property. So
Yeah.
like, for example, if you're selling a waterfront property, offer to take people on a boat by the property so they can see it from the water. It just have to do different things. With the brokers open, I've had like live music, more high-end food and drink, champagne, so it's just, you're catering to that property and trying to show what's different about that property and how you're going to sell that property differently. You're not going to do a champagne brokers open for a $500,000 home. You know what I'm saying? So it's just really catered to what type of property it is.
Exactly. So things that you have to do different. But guys, remember, that QR code that we gave you earlier, you have access to it. And as we move on, you're going to even have more access. But let's talk about, what about negotiation skills? Some of you have heard me talk about negotiation skills, but Linda, if they're looking, these high network individuals, they want to see that you have some selling skills. And I know 20 years in the business, I know you personally. But as a young realtor or an experienced realtor with just this little bit of level, how do they increase their negotiation skills? What did you do to learn more?
So I kind of am a self-motivated and self-starter kind of person. So like when I got in the business, I had these teams that wanted me to come and join their team. And I was like, no, I'm gonna do it, try it on my own and see how I do. And I would go in there for listing appointments and be confident, even, and learn your trade. So like if you're new, take all the classes, learn the contracts, because you don't learn in real estate school how to write a contract, how to open a lockbox. I went and I learned everything I could learn, because this is the most important investment in people's lives. So I took that very seriously, and I wanted to make sure I knew what I was talking about to represent these people. So I just went out there and I just kind of attacked. I just went out. I had confidence, and why should we work with you? You're a new agent. I said, because I'll work harder than anybody, and I still do the same things to this day. I connect with the people. I care about my people. Even these high net worth, especially, they want to know you care and that you're there for them and that you're there to make their transaction go smoothly. So you just gotta, even as a new agent, just always be learning, and always have confidence in yourself and what you're doing.
No doubt. See that? You hear that, guys? Do you hear that? Linda, thank you. Let's go on to number 2, guys, because this is good stuff. I see the numbers still rising. Make sure you take number 2, deep market knowledge. How do you get deep market knowledge? A thorough understanding of the local real estate market is crucial, right? You should be well versed in the property values, the marketing trends, and the market trends, and the unique characteristics of luxury properties. For example, is that granite stone? Is that marble? Linda, how did you learn this? I mean, we were at CB together, and we're
Right.
doing this. And how did you go to Home Depot? What did you do?
I mean, I think it just comes with going into properties, learning about all, like you said, like granite. Now it's quartz. It used to be granite back in our day, quartz. Learning what the trends are. I know in our MLS, there's a lot of ability to learn to find out the market trends month over month, year over year. So just research all that stuff. When you, like, I'm selling a point lot in Fort Lauderdale, so I research all the point lots that have sold. There's not a lot of point lots. That's, you know, a unique property. So there wasn't a lot of them that you could look for, but you narrow it down very, very tightly to what you're comparing it to. And then learn all the stuff about that. Know what's closed, if it was superior, inferior to your property, get that knowledge of anything in the area of that's similar to that property. And especially in the high-end market, you're not going to have as many. Like, you sell a $500,000 home, there's a ton of them. You know, then what you do there is you're looking at what the neighborhood, you're looking at that community, that subdivision. So same thing applies when you're looking at a luxury home. What is different about that luxury home? And that's what you search, and you learn it, and you're able to verbalize that to the seller and to all the people that would be interested in that property.
No doubt. And you know what, to be honest, guys, you know, HGTV, all these little things, you know, you could learn YouTube. You could go on YouTube and say, hey, you know, what is a luxury kitchen? And you're going to see these things, but you want to be able to articulate that when you walk into the house of a luxury for the listing appointment. You want to know that that's marble, but don't be rest assured. Don't be afraid, because I tell you what, every time we step into a $5 million property, a $10 million property, guess what? That seller is so eager to tell you, oh yeah, I had that marble flew in from Spain, and my cigarette, the elevator is Tressengoff, and they tell you.
Yeah. They're dying to tell you everything.
Yeah,
Things you don't need to know, they want to tell you.
yeah, so it's fun. It's also fun. So number two, strong negotiation skills. And here you have the ability to find out how to develop your negotiation skills. Well, what is negotiation skills? So let's say, Linda, you have this listing, and you know, here comes Tim. I won't call any names, but Tim is in your market, right? We know Tim, right? And Tim, it brings a buyer, and you got the listing. What are some of the key things about negotiating that we want to tell our audience? What do you think?
I mean, I think you learn it from day one. It's all part of the process of starting in real estate, and negotiating is a big, big thing, obviously. So you want to, you know, we're transaction brokers here at least. So you're representing the transactions. So our goal is to make everybody happy and put a deal together. So I never look at it like it's me against you. It's like, what's fair, what is going to get the job done, you know, to make everybody happy. So I always say, like, people are like, oh, you list and sell homes, it's like so glamorous and this and that. And I said, really what we are is we're problem solvers. Our job is to solve problems. Every part of the transaction, just because you put it under contract, that's just the beginning. So you're negotiating from there on with inspections, appraisal, all that stuff is a negotiation. So I think it just comes with time and doing deals, of learning how to negotiate. But I always see the big picture. I'm not narrow-minded. I think people that are narrow-minded and only see like one part of it are not get closing deals. You have to be able to work the entire transaction to the benefit of everyone. And then that's when you close. That's how
Exactly.
you close the
So
deal.
true. So true. And it's amazing. And you heard what she said. You know, you're right, Linda. You know, it's all about the transaction, and you really want to make sure that everybody is winning. And that's the best thing I see about real estate when I got into it. I was a financial planner before I got into real estate. And when I sold a life insurance policy, I always worried that they will stop paying and it lapse. But when I got into real estate 2003, I recognized there's so many people that benefit. Okay, the buyer's agent, the seller's agent, the attorney, the closing agent, the inspector. It's like so many people win.
And
So you,
everybody wants to win. That's part of the other thing, is everybody wants to win. So
yeah,
everybody wants to,
yeah,
that, like, you're negotiating and you're like at $5,000 off, but then it's like they want to do meet in the middle 2,500. So it's like everybody has to feel like they're winning, and then they're happy. So it's a
yeah,
little tug of war with that too.
exactly. Don't go into a transaction saying, "Oh, my client wants to." My no, don't do that. Okay, don't do that. Negotiations can come very easy when you learn how to articulate yourself and understand that there's psychological reciprocity. And I talk about that a lot in my book, The 5 Steps to the Sale. Right in the lower right-hand corner, get your phone out, scan that code. There's a growth call that you can get with us. There is no obligation. We sit, we talk to you about what's going on, and then you're able to learn and move forward. So that's your growth call scanner right there. And you'll see it again. If you have to leave, that's understandable, but you want to stick around to the end. Strong negotiation skills. Number three, it's a fact. You've got to have it. as a strong luxury agent. Number four, discretion and confidentiality. You know, luxury clients, they value their privacy. I mean, I could tell you right now, I'll go on my phone, and even though I have a staff of 4 people, there are some clients in the phone that it says private with Paul, and it's a group. So I've got group texts going on with the staff, but I have private, and that's really what the clients want to see. So, Linda, what would you say about confidentiality and how the clients that are in the luxury, high net worth, how do they feel about this privacy? What do you think?
They definitely want privacy. A lot of times they don't want their name associated. They don't want their name out there. And you have to make sure that you are not giving any information that they don't want you to give. So a lot of times there's NDAs you have to sign. There's all sorts of things that people that especially people with a lot of money do not want you putting them out there. So you have to really, very important that you don't give out any information that they don't want you to give out.
And do you know what an NDA is, guys? The NDA is that, non-disclosure. You're not going to disclose that Mr. So-and-so who owns Dixie Cups is selling this. He doesn't want you to know, okay? So it's very important that you understand that. So you can't go around parties, you can't go around places and like, oh yeah, I have Mr. Dixie Cup house for sale over there if he doesn't want that to be known. It's very important. But how do you
Mhm.
find that out, Linda? When do you think you find out the discretion part? When you're sitting in the listing appointment, dining room
Oh, yeah.
table? Yeah.
Yep, immediately. Then they'll pretty much tell you anyway. They're gonna tell you like what they want to disclose and what they don't. And like I had a listing where he was throwing out names of who the builder was of the property and then this and that. And then I said, well, are these facts that I can promote? And he said, no. So like, he's like, I didn't have this authorization or whatever. So immediately from the get-go, you want to know because you're like you said, you're at a cocktail party and you say, oh, da 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 da, and then later you're there, we don't want you to disclose that, and then you're kind of like, then you're in trouble. So you want to lay it on the line immediately so you know what you can and cannot say.
There you go. So the learning here for you today, number four, write that down, is when you're on a listing appointment for a luxury home in the millions, you definitely ask them, what should I keep in confidentiality? What is it? Ask them that question. So write that down. That's important. Number five, attention to detail. Luxury properties often feature intricate designs, high-end finishes, and unique amenities. A keen eye for details is essential when showcasing these properties. We're talking about potential buyers that want to make sure that they see and you could write about this and you could display it. What are some of the things, when you go finishes are those fixtures that you see and you should know what they are and you can learn what they are. The details of how the caulking is from the floor to the baseboard, all of those things are meticulous. So, Linda, can you tell us just a little bit about some of the details that one can expect on a
I mean,
luxury?
there's so many, and it depends. And like I've had listings, like you said, where they're flying in the flooring from Italy and the cabinetry from Spain and whatever. So what I do is I tell them to give me a list of everything that they've done to the property, where it originated from, and anything that they want people to know, because that's where you're getting it from. Or if it's not them, it's their assistant or whoever. But you need to know from the horse's mouth exactly what kind of cabinets they are and where the flooring is from and that it's inverted baseboards. I mean, there's just so many different things you can, you know, that they can have. So I have a listing and he's from Sweden. So everything is very European and very minimalist and things that you don't even think of are like a big deal to him, like wall hung toilets. Like that's a big deal to them. So like it can vary tremendously on who the person is, where they're from, and what their taste is. So I always have them send me a list and then I make a property feature sheet that I attach to MLS and I also put it with the brochure of everything that they've done that differentiates that property from any other property.
You know what's a good thing too, Linda, that we could throw in here with them? Paying attention to detail can also build trust and build
Oh
that
yeah.
relationship, right? Because when you repeat everything to them, that you've seen these things and you recognize them, they feel very confident that you are their person, right? That realtor.
Definitely. Yeah, they
No
want
doubt.
to know that you're gonna know that house inside and out and be able to promote it how they want you to promote it. It's a big thing about how they want you to promote it, what they want you to tell people about it. So yes, that's very
Yep.
important.
And you know what I like to do too, that I want you guys to write down? After you get your marketing together, before you go pushing it out there, run it by them. Say, hey, listen, I'm about to launch this. Look at the details. This is what we wrote. My copywriter wrote this. What do you guys think? Give them a chance to say, change that, change this.
And I even do that when I enter a listing, like I just enter a listing today and I sent it to her and I'm like, check it out. Let me know if there's anything you want to change, how it looks for you, because they want to be involved. They don't want to be involved, but they want to be. A lot of them want to be really involved. She did one today. She gave me, we had like 55 photos and she told me the order she wanted the photos in. So like they can be very on top of you. Like, so you kind of go with the flow,
Oh, yeah.
however, whatever
So,
direction they want.
you just have to follow through, right? You got to follow through. All
Give them what
right.
they want.
Yeah, for sure. Number 6, and I told you number 6, there would be something here. Benisa, do we have any volunteers? Because here we are, we're midway through this right now. We're doing amazing. Number 6, exceptional client service, right? Provide top-notch client service is paramount in luxury market. And look at what Linda just said. She has a listing that the client says, oh, the orders of the pictures need to be such and such. Are you going to challenge that? No. You're going to say absolutely. And you know how difficult it is for us to like pinpoint. It's terrible.
Yes, I do.
Right? Luxury client, they expect personalized attention, prompt responses, and seamless experience from start to finish. I mean, you're talking about prompt responses. You can't just go off and leave your phone without any attention. You must have some assistant that could say, hey, take my calls for the next hour or two, just in case Mr. Johnson called, blah, 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 blah. Or you can tell them, listen, I'm going to be doing this for this part of the day. I won't be available. You should definitely let them know. So, Benisa, right now we take a little hover. They could scan that QR code, set up their growth call. It's complimentary. They know that. But are there any volunteers that wanted to come up to the stage right now, come up to the mic, and just maybe say something about what they're discovering so far? Anybody?
You had volunteers up until you scrolled to the slide number 6, and then all of them lowered their hands. We have an amazing question though, from Navjot. I'm gonna try bringing it up so maybe he can ask it on the stage if he's willing to.
All right, we'll stop sharing the screen. Go ahead. Okay. So, oi, no,
Navjot,
no.
I believe.
Hello.
Hello, Navjot.
Hello. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, and we're delighted that you're here. Tell us where you're from, what part of the world you're in, and what would you like to say about what you're learning so far?
So I am right now calling from Kitchener, Ontario, Canada.
Okay.
Okay, and the good thing is, like, I'm learning a lot of stuff. You might have seen I asked a question too, from a normal real estate agents selling under 2 million mark and crossing that mark to go to luxury. How much people judge a realtor, based on if he's capable of doing the luxury listings or not,
So the question is, how much would that person judge you, and what are they looking for? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. Like, do they care about your status? Like, I've seen a lot of time, depends upon some person, but some people may want to check out your clothes, your shoes, everything, like what car you're driving before giving you a $3 million, $4 million listing, So how much these things matter?
They matter a lot. And Linda, I'm going to let you chime in, but let me tell you this, Navjot, it matters a lot. My first listing was 2.5 million many, many years ago in the Trump building. And one day I went with some rinky-dinky clothes. The wife looked at me like I was crazy. I wore some faded out shirt. You cannot do that. You have to represent them. It's your uniform to have a custom-made shirt. It's your uniform.
Yep.
So you have to, Linda, tell Navjot, how do we jump from that 2 million to 5 million, and how do we carry ourselves, and what do we do?
I always dress up. I'm one of those people, even in South Florida, where a lot of people dress very casual. I'm not that girl. I dress up every day. I think you dress for success, and you are the presentation. You are your business. So if you look like if you're disheveled clothes or your workout clothes, athleisure, like that's not the look you're going for. So you want to be presentable. to present how you're gonna, because if you're not coming dressed to a T, how are you gonna represent their property? It's how they're gonna think of you. Like if you're just casual, like you're not taking this seriously. You know what I'm saying? You have to really take it seriously. Another thing is in terms of doing that jump, I think it's also like I still sell everything. I just closed 3 like 55 plus condos, $100,000. So like I'm not too good for anything. I still do everything across the board. And you still build your business from that. So like every closing is a closing. It all adds up. It's all money. So, and you're helping people that you don't know who they are connected to and that they're going to appreciate that you sold this $100,000 condo. So you have to really think about it all goes toward the greater good and your goal is to help people. I've always said my goal is to help people and the money came from that. So it wasn't like I was just looking for money. You know what I'm saying? I was looking to do a service and that's what I provide. So you like your accolades kind of speak for you. So once you get in the business and you start going, you can say, I closed this many transactions. I'm I'm a top agent in my company or whatever it is. But then all your hard work and accolades will help you to get to that next level. So it's a work in progress.
No doubt. Thank you so much, Linda. Navjot, what do you think about what we've just said? How does that resonate with you?
No, I do agree about having a professionalism showcasing amongst the client. That's very important. Like it builds authority. It definitely helps you for sure. But maybe sometimes we are overdressed as well. If we are going for a $200,000 house, and then sometimes we get like overqualified for few things which we don't want to sound like, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't say you're overqualified. It's all the same thing. So I don't think that's necessarily the right mentality to think you're overqualified because now you're selling higher end, So I
Okay.
think that mentality is not a good mentality to have because I still do rentals. Like people are like, why are you doing rentals? It's because these are people that called me from somebody else and I'm still going to take care of them. So I think it's not it's the same. You're doing the same thing, whether it's 200 or 2 million. You're doing the same thing. You're listing a property, you're showing it to buyers, you're putting it under contract, you're doing inspections, you're doing appraisal, whatever it is. It's the same process. So I don't think you're any more qualified, not to do a $200,000 property. I think you
Okay.
should do it all.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
You
agree
never
with
know what
you.
it can lead to,
So
especially if
true.
you're new in the business. If you're newer in the business, don't be too
You
good for
want
anything.
to help the people. That's the most important thing. Now, I'm going to tell you this, Navjot. I personally have 2 cars because just like Linda, I will help the renter. It's about the people. So why do I have 2 cars? Well, okay, sometimes I might have to step down and I might need to go and I want to take this car to do that. And then I know if I'm going to go to the high end, boy, I have to really, really take this car. All these things matter. These are like uniforms that we use, and it's like different pieces of uniforms. So take that into consideration. That's a great question. I hope we've really helped you. Benisa, is there anyone else that wanted to ask before we get back to the slides?
Absolutely, yes. We have 3 more volunteers. I'm
Okay,
gonna bring them up one by one, and Natalie is the first.
go ahead, Natalie.
Hi, thank you so much for the opportunity to listen to you and learn from you today. My name is Natalie. I'm from Richmond Hill, Ontario. I would like to hear a little bit more, if you would kindly share, how were you able to land your first luxury listing or the working with the buyer? Can you share that story? How did that come up about?
Good question. Linda, you go first.
I'm trying to think.
Ladies
Over the
first.
first one, I guess I would say I'm thinking probably. I know one that I got. I had actually met the sellers at an event with another realtor who was their realtor. And then he tried to sell it. He couldn't sell it. And then like a year later, they called me because we had met and they liked me or whatever, knew my track record. And so then they asked me to list it and sell it. So it's probably from my sphere of people and my reputation.
That was nice. And you know what? I could say many years ago, my first one was Steve, and that was down off of Oakland. You know this restaurant. I won't call the name, but it was on the water, and it was my first mega was 2.4 million. My first one, that's many years ago. And the way I got that, it was also from networking because I always went to that person restaurant on most times in the evenings and kind of chill and they kind of just
Mhm.
so I think there's a commonality here. It's about
Totally.
being in the space of these people that
Yep.
are the fancy
Mhm.
restaurants. I remember one time I took the bill from some group dinner. It was $900. I was like, what in the world? But it's okay. It pays off because you will get these things back. But if
Mhm.
you make that transition, be around them. Natalie, does that help you what we're saying? How to get that transition?
Yes, it definitely resonates with me. It all comes from abundance, the abundant set of mind, and just acting on it on a daily basis. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome. So remember, if you're going to step into this atmosphere of where these affluent people are, their restaurants, where they go grocery shopping, all these other things, you have to be mindful. Make sure that you are appropriate. You look good. You're not just, you have your uniform on so that you can attract somebody. You kind of get yourself in a position where you're approachable and maybe you can mean something to someone. And not only that, but the internet and all the things, if everybody was to look you up, they see a consistency with your image. That's all important. And remember the QR code that I gave earlier? You want to use that to come to a growth call and we could talk about that. Benisa, who would be the next two people? This is great.
Yes, I have just one more note
Okay.
to elaborate sort of on what you said about dressing and stuff like that. I think there's a big misconception here on that you have to dress expensive and luxurious. I
Yeah.
think the main thing that you guys need to be doing is actually dress clean. Make sure that your shirt is ironed. Make sure that you are looking presentable. Those do not necessarily need to be like high-end clothes and a shirt that you paid hundreds of dollars for. Just make sure that you're just looking clean and polished at all times. And I think that's honestly like a big part of it as well.
It doesn't have
Totally.
to be expensive to look nice. And
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
knew an agent here who he was always dressed to a T, and you would think his suits were like custom made, and he was going to Marshalls and just, but you can find stuff, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter. It's a presentation. Like she said, you're clean, your press shirt, dresses, whatever. It doesn't have to be expensive though. Definitely not.
That's
For
right.
sure.
Good,
Okay.
good.
Saket is here.
Okay. And the next one is Sakit. Hi, Sakit.
Hi, Linda and Paul.
I
I essentially wanted to comment and ask you. I'm from Vancouver, BC, Canada. So the market here is very different. I would say the numbers you're giving at the high end are the low end over here. So
Wow, nice. I'm moving to Canada.
Me too.
yeah, a 2 million home is not a custom home; it's a builder home over here, or
Wow.
in further, I would say 4 or 5 million these days are 10,000 square foot lot, easily 4 or 5 million
Yeah.
builder home. So the luxury market goes in the double digits, I would say. Once you touch the double digits, that is where you are touching the luxury market. And so far, the points you have said, and probably you can correlate for the value, the journal consumer has the expectation for those 6 points you have mentioned so far for a normal realtor to have that. So, communication skills, deep market knowledge, negotiation, discretion, confidentiality, I think kind of gets taken care by a board norms with the privacy and consent notice that you have to present. I have had clients in below 1 million mark where they have expressed for the realtor to maintain confidentiality for whatever reason. Maybe, they're getting divorced or whatever,
Right.
they don't want people to know. Same with attention to detail. So, unfortunately, I mean, these things are standard for us over here. But what I would like to know is, how do you market yourself in that section? And as you said, like it's a very close-knit kind of a community. There are some communities, like there's I don't know if there are other people over here from Vancouver listening, but West Vancouver, Shaughnessy areas, these are the high net value areas, and even to step in those neighborhoods or markets, you probably are not qualified if you are selling 4 or 5 million homes. Nobody is gonna let you in. There's an area called British Properties where, as an owner, you are interviewed to be able to buy land and build over there. So even if you would have tens of millions of dollars, it's not that you can buy property over there. So how do you market yourself in this particular segment? I mean, everything is on social media these days, but irrespective of that, how do you differentiate yourself from the rest of the real estate community, the other realtors, to highlight yourself as being a luxury specialist realtor?
And Sakat, thank you so much, because you know what? I know I paid you to introduce the next slide. You're a great man. I'm joking. I'm just kidding.
Segue.
But go ahead, Linda. And that leads into the next slide, Vanessa, for us and Saket. And it's on the screen, it's right. Saket is asking, how do we network for this industry? How do we get connected, building and maintaining strong networking? Like Linda, you told a story, you got a listing 1 year later because you were at a networking. And where were you networking? What would be some of the common things that we could do, or non-common things we could do?
I mean, and obviously, like you're telling, what you just said is so different than it is here, how they do things there. Like you can buy anything you want here. It's there. You're not going to get interviewed in order to be able to purchase a plot of land or anything. So it's a completely different kind of market and rules. And even I know with your financing there, like everything is just different. So like, to me here, I would say, like, you're sending out mailers consistently. And I don't know if you guys do that there, where you're providing value, you're saying what's sold in the area to position yourself. Because like you said, internet and all that stuff is half the people that put all this stuff out there are not selling any real estate, but they have a great marketing person that makes it look like they're selling multi-million-dollar properties. When people come to my listings, like, can I video your listing? And they put themselves in front of it and people think it's their listing. So it's all positioning, a lot of it's fluff and a lot of it's fake, but it's kind of like fake it till you make it. Put yourself out there, be confident. If you do get that appointment, be confident. I went on a listing appointment for a property against two very, very well-known agents, and they chose me. And one of the reasons they chose me is my Zillow reviews. I have 157 Zillow reviews from past clients. And I think that was one of the things because it wasn't just me saying, I'm so great, because everybody's so great. Not that I do that anyway, but it was a third party reinforcement of all these people saying, like, this is how she runs her business. She cares about us. She answers her phone. I'm not one of those people, my phone is down. Like, I have my phone on me all the time. I answer my phone all the time. I respond immediately to people. It's worth more than you think it is, because so many people don't do that. So the simple things, even though I agree with what he said, these are all things that we do, from $100,000 condos to $1 million property. It's all the same things that we should be doing on all of our transactions, but you're just dealing with a different echelon of people. So it's all the same, but it's just a different class of people. And I want to say class, but a different kind of people that you're dealing with. But yes, all those things that you do are the same throughout. All of our integrity, all of our rules that we go by, ethics, all of that transcends that. But it's more putting yourself out there, positioning yourself as a local expert in that area. And also, like to your slide, I have like an arsenal of inspectors, contractors, tile guys, like anybody. And people know, if they trust me, they know that if I'm referring them somebody, that they know they can trust those people too. So it's like an extension of you. So you want to have all your people around you that are going to represent you, because if they mess up or do something wrong, it comes back to you. So everybody that's in your arsenal should be running their business the same way you run yours. And that's how the people that I use, because I know how I run my business, my lender, personalized service, answers the phone, explains everything ad nauseum. So it's all an extension of you, and that's all part of your arsenal to prove your worth to a luxury seller.
Thank you, Linda. And Saket, we have some tips for you. Listen to this. From what we're understanding, you're saying, you know what? What's up with the marketing? Well, here's what's up with the marketing. Number one, you want to make sure that you have continuity in your social media and your presence. If someone try to Google you, I don't know if you own your office or not, but you still can figure out a way how to do a Google business page and have some reviews, or even Zillow or something that you rate my agent. We don't know what you have, but you should start having a compilation of reviews that are 5 stars and ask the people before they give you a review, how was my service? Would you say it's a 5 star or a 4? They say 5. Say, can you give it to me in writing? Get it. And then build that backup that you have there. And then we don't know what it's like for you, like Linda is saying, but we do a lot of mail outs here, and nice, glossy, professional looking, our images there. And we're consistent with targeting one specific subdivision. So Rio Vista is one over there. If I wanted to really, really focus on that, but I know one of my colleagues are down there. So if I focus on that and I just start to mail out on a regular basis, now this is a campaign. We're spending a couple $1,000s here, a couple $100 for the whole year, and you have to be consistent with it. And then networking. Well, if this subdivision have this event, or the place around the subdivision, you can go to dinner with your family, try to be seen, try to be there. Networking. So hopefully this is of value to you, but we're going to move on to the slides as the time goes on. How do you feel right now? Did you get anything from what Linda and I just said, Saket, or not?
No, yeah, totally. And I think to the aspect where you pointed out, Paul, having 2 cars, I kind of adapt to that strategy as well. And but yeah, but I guess the markets are quite different. I have a few friend realtors who actively work in the luxury segment, and their look and feel is totally different. And the watches they wear, I mean, you think Tag Heuer or Omega are the rich brands, but
No.
surprisingly they aren't. Like, they're at the bottom of the ladder for that rich class. And so you can compete, and as Linda was saying, you gotta dress for success and be confident more about it. You gotta ooze confidence when you're dealing with such class, that they feel confident that you can handle their transaction.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Saket. We're going to bring you back again. We're going to get through about 3 more slides now, and then we'll come back again. Thank you. So take a look on the screen. Number 7, this is a fact. Networking and industry connections. We just spoke about it. Now you could read about it. Look, building and maintaining strong network of individual connections. Linda just said that. These people align with her business, these brokers, these contractors, these service providers. It's very important. And you know what? Let me tell you one thing I've experienced with. Whenever I'm dealing with a high network individual and they need something, once they trust you, they're going to come to you and be like, hey, do you know a person my daughter wants to do her hair, good hair, whatever. I'm just giving an example. Then you need to be able to find that connection. And if something happens, oh my gosh, it's gonna really, I introduced a friend of mine, a client who was a moving company, to another client, and it kind of got a little broken. Certain things got broken. Guess what? It come back to me. I had to be there to, like, come on guys, let's fix this together. So be careful about that and know how to network. But I wanted to just add a little bit more of, like, and Linda, maybe you could chime into this too, to break into this market of the luxury, you should tend to want to be in a specific neighborhood where it's the price points that you want to be in. Then go to the dry cleaners over there, drop off your stuff. Go to the supermarket over there. If there's any networking events in that neighborhood, get in there, Eventbrite, find out whatever, get connected with people. I don't know what you do, playing golf or whatever, but try to do things that would put you in the position of possibly running across these people. Linda, what do you think about that?
I agree with you totally. I mean, I know that people with money obviously are going to go to a nicer restaurant. They're going to, they're going to shop, like you said, Rio Vista. They're going to go to the Publix that's close to there. So it's immersing yourself in that community. Restaurants, I think, are a big thing. Obviously, it's like I had a friend that said you should go sit at the bar at the nicest restaurant in the area, and you're gonna just start talking to people, and you're gonna, not even that you're going there to drink or eat, like get a glass of water and get a salad and just talk to the people around you. We're in a very vacation oriented area, so there's a lot of places here. I meet people all the time that are from other places, Canada, New York, New Jersey. There's just so many people that are coming down here that you connect with. And I have people calling me that some guy had my card from like 3 years ago that I gave him. Like, give out your information, give them your info and get their info, and you'd be surprised the connections you can make.
No doubt. And then develop your people skills. Make sure you're, able to get somebody to like you, listen to you, trust you, and believe in you. Number 8, marketing savvy. And we kind of talk about this, what are some of the effective marketing that is essential for showcasing luxury properties? This nice brochures. Linda has this 20 points, if she has a point lot is where the property, I don't want to insult anybody's intelligence, but it's right there where you would have no other views except just pointing right into the intercoastal or the ocean. There's a point there. So how do you have a boat come by and show people? What are some of the things that you have to do? So marketing savvy, how do you come up, Linda, with all of these techniques? Is it from your company, or what do you just brainstorm?
I mean, yeah, it's your brainstorming. Like, you think about what you're offering with that property and what makes it unique, and that's what you showcase. And how can you show it in a different way to make it interesting and different for people? People with money, they want to be like wined and dined and shown things in a different perspective. So, I know somebody that takes people on a helicopter ride over properties. So there's like so many things you can do. It just depends. It really just does depend on the property. One thing, like with my company, is they have a whole luxury platform. So what they do is, if you get a luxury listing, they vet it out to all the different like luxury magazines, or even if it's not on like print, online. And one of my listings got picked up by Mansion Global, and then they interviewed me, and so I was quoted, and it was a whole online piece about this property. So it depends what your company offers, and obviously a lot of companies don't do that, but if companies that are geared towards luxury do have on their back end to promote these luxury properties. So that's another added bonus of my company where I am. So
Look at your resources.
Paul, can I chime in for a second, please?
Yes, you can, Benisa. Absolutely.
I have a question for both of you, actually. I'm not sure if you guys do open houses frequently, but how would an open house differentiate whether if it's a listing that's cheaper, so to say, and a luxury listings?
Well, I can tell you from my experience, a lot of times I do brokers opens, because you want to have the agents come through and invite the brokers that sell that at that level. Open houses, some of them don't want you to do an open house because they think people are just window shopping, and they think they're casing their houses, because a lot of people are suspect of, things like that. So a lot of them will not want an open house necessarily, because they don't want people coming through their house just to kind of look at that. Oh, I'm going to go look at a $2 million house. So it's going to depend on the owner and what they want. And some of them, they do. I've done open houses that they let anybody come through. So it just is going to depend on your seller and what they are willing to allow you to do.
I agree with Linda. I agree the same, because they really don't want a whole bunch of people just without an appointment just coming through. So the open house is not a big thing in the high end, in my opinion. I agree with that. I've had an open house one time for something like about 1.5 million, and there was a diamond ring, even though I told the seller not to do that, and they left it and somebody took it. So you got to really, really watch out for things like that. But the broker's open is fun. And it's really, really good to do, because when you're in this level, it's like there is a pool of people that's already there. And as long as we let everybody know, it's going to get sold. And that's really what it's all about, in my opinion. Just going to lunch with Linda, or to go to dinner, seeing someplace, hey, did you see my new one? And it just connects, that networking. That's part of marketing too, is networking.
Awesome.
You won't sit on your butt.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. My pleasure. All right, we're going to finish this up in 5 minutes. Let's rush through it. We only have 2 more slides. So number 9 is adaptability and flexibility. The luxury real estate market can be dynamic and ever changing. So you've got to roll with it. And, earlier we talked about that. Linda mentioned that you got to be changing with the times. And, there's times when things are different. So you have to roll with it, but be flexible. Linda, anything else you want to say about flexibility that you recognize over the time that you want to
I
share?
mean, it's like, just like one of the agents had said, you're adapting no matter which level you're at. So you always have to be adaptable and know what's going on with that luxury market, because the luxury market sometimes is different than the average market. So you have to be able to really focus on that and see what the changes are and adapt to those changes, which could be different from our, normal, 500, a million, whatever market. So
No
I,
doubt. Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely. Be adaptable, be flexible. And then finally, passion and commitment. Finally, we're here and we're going to wrap this up right now. A genuine passion for luxury real estate and a strong commitment to excellence are the key traits for your success. That means that you really, really like to be in this space. You like the fine quality. You feel so excited when you're in this beautiful, but you got to feel good about this, because it's going to require the genuineness and authenticity about you, and then dedication to provide unparalleled service, to be achieving exceptional. But we want to say this to you, right? The last thing you see here, it says, remember, ABG. What is ABG? Always be growing. Linda said it earlier, like way, way, way earlier, on like slide 1. You always have to be growing. How do you learn these things? You go out and you make it a point to learn it. So this is where we are for today. This was about 10 facts on how to actually get yourself into the luxury market. As we close this up right now, Benita, we have a few minutes. We have an open mic. Is there any other questions? Are there any other questions? On the screen, yep, we have a guy. Yay! On the screen, get your cameras out. There's a growth call. There's no obligation. We do the growth call at Successful Business Academy, and we could answer any questions for you on the growth call. So we're open up for the next 5 minutes, or as long as you guys want. Go ahead. Akil. Nice name.
Hi,
Akil.
Paul. Hey, Linda. How's it going? It's Akhil here. I'm an agent out of Toronto, Ontario. So I'm into real estate less than a year. So my question is, how hard was it for you guys to get your first luxury listing? I mean, do you guys really have to sell a lot of real estate that was not luxury to get into it? Or, I mean, how do the sellers react? Do they, ask you, did you sold anything before in luxury? Or, I mean, what sort of concerns do you guys got?
I didn't really, when I started, I just wanted to support my children. I wasn't going to be picking I would only take luxury. So I just started and I just started selling everything. And I built my business that way. So from that perspective, I didn't go in saying I'm only going to sell 1 million and up. And some people, that's their goal and that's what they do. I was not that person. So I just built my business over the years. And it just came from the connections and the relationships that I built for
No
me.
doubt. Yeah, no doubt. And I agree with you too. You're taking me way back now, Akil. I think back of when I started 2003, and for me, what happened was how I got into the luxury. There was a switch, because I was doing these deals, right? And I told myself, I said a bar, like this is 2003, and I said, okay, this is so great. I'm closing my first deal on the first day getting my license. But I set a bar. I said, all of my deals that I'm going to get are going to be giving me $5,000 in income. I set this little bar, and lo and behold, because I said it to the universe, I just started getting the deals that are like 5,000 in each deal. And then I learned, and I grew to 25,000 on each deal, 25,000 on each deal. And so I think that if you have this belief and set this bar, then you sort of like know what to do to grow to the belief. And I remember just networking. A lot of times I was freshly divorced as well and just single. And I was staying out late till like 10 o'clock, but in the right places, affluent places, speaking to people and just having a good time connecting. That's what I would say. And that's many years ago. But the same thing applies right now. Once you get into that level, it's just, you're going to go there. Next person would be Maria. After Maria, then Marcus. Okay, come on, Maria.
Yes, and you hear me?
Yes, we can, Maria.
Hi, Linda and Paul. Thank you for the opportunity. I've been listening all what you say and what other agents been texting. Personally, I believe that we cannot level at the same as the rich people or any client. We just have to be sure that we are presenting to them an excellent customer service, an excellent, more than have the last car in the world or the last Rolex, be neat and like Linda say, dress for success, first thing. And then on top of that, be confident, be knowledgeable, and be somebody that present an excellent service, like you explained. No matter if our car is a simple car or we live in a $700, not $3 million house, but that is more important. I used to be a personal chef before as a profession, and I used to work for millionaires.
Nice.
And they like me because I cook what they want, and because they have confidence on me. So I imagine that for real estate agents, it's exactly the same. When you just serve them at the matter that they want, in the way that they want to be served.
No, we
Yep,
agree.
absolutely.
Yep.
You're
Linda,
right.
Maria, where are you from? Tell us. We didn't get. Are you in? Where are you?
Well, I'm from Colombia. Originally, I'm from Colombia. I came to Canada year 2000 because one of my brothers was the ambassador of my country, and I fall in love with this country and decided to move here.
Nice.
And then I sponsored my two kids, start a
Oh,
new
good.
career, start a new life.
Yeah.
And I recommend you too to move to Canada. It's great.
Yes. I love the price points. I tell you that much. Thank you so
Right.
much. Yeah, thank you. All right.
You're
Marcus,
welcome.
Marcus, what's your takeaway? What would you like to say to us as we close out? And there you go. Unmute your mic.
Guys, thank you for taking the time to do this presentation.
Wait, Mike, you're low. Get closer to the mic. Tell us your name and well, we know your name, Marcus, but where are you from and what's your takeaway? Get closer to the mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, perfect. So, well, my name is Marcus. I'm from Toronto. I appreciate you guys doing this. Obviously, I had a lot of questions about luxury. I still do, but I think the main takeaway I think I'm getting is that, you have to sort of network is sort of, to find the clients you're looking for. They're not going to be dime a dozen walking around on the street. It's going to be something that you have to go to where they're going to meet them versus them coming to you to meet you, sort of thing.
Right.
And the other thing I wanted to say was that, one question I do have is, a lot of, there's that sort of, I guess, a certificate or some type of designation, I would call it, of certified luxury home marketing expert or something like that, I believe,
Yeah.
right? How important is that to luxury clients? Is that something they or is that something you pitch to them as a value add, or is it sort of nice to have sort of in your back pocket to throw out there if they have questions about it, kind of thing?
I can answer that if you want. So I have 4 designations. I think I'll tell you, I think it adds value with referrals from other agents, because if someone's looking for an agent, I think it differentiates you that I got GRI, ABR, PMN, TRC, like, so I think it definitely, especially to try to break in, saying, well, look, I have this designation. I think that definitely will help differentiate you and put you in a higher
Different
level.
league.
Yeah,
Right.
100%. So I think
Gotcha.
that's worthwhile. I think any designation is worthwhile. Like I got my GRI, which is like 3 different classes, and it was like my post licensing when I got my license. And then in 07, I became a broker. So I didn't want to run the company. I did run a company when the market crashed for a few years. I was VP of real estate for a company, but I still sold because I always love selling. That's like my passion. But even having your broker's license, and I think in some areas it's required. Like I know in Colorado, you have to be a broker, but like here, you don't have to be. So it kind of gives you another edge up that you did that extra education. So I think I always say education is not, it's the best thing you can do. It only helps increase your
Helps your
value proposition.
brand. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, appreciate that. And I have another follow-up question as well, if you don't mind me asking. When you say, for example, you met somebody, or say you're cold call, or you saw a luxury home sold in a neighborhood of other 3, 4, $5 million homes. How open are these sellers to a visit from an agent to their door to say, hey, look, this one next door to you just sold for $5 million. Would you be interested in sort of setting up time to get a value on yours? Like, how open would they be to that, something like that?
Probably not, because especially when you're dealing
No,
with
okay.
more luxury, I think they would not be as
Mhm.
open as it would be for a lower priced property. Just
Mhm.
my opinion. I don't, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I don't know if door knocking is, it depends on, like I said, it's so different in different areas. Maybe
Mhm.
it wouldn't be a problem where you are,
Yeah. So one of these
Yeah.
Remax agents really big in Toronto, that's sort
Mhm.
of like, this is like maybe about 40, 50 years. That's he talks about how he started with a pocket of say 500 homes. He just went back to the same pocket over and over. And now he's a dominant agent for
Yeah.
20, $30 million homes in that neighborhood.
Listen, I don't disagree. And I think
Mhm.
over time things just
Just
change.
curious,
Like
yeah.
I used to door knock
Absolutely.
way back in the beginning, and I also did door hangers, and door hangers were
Mhm.
like great. People called me and I would take listings. I just think it depends on your area and what's
Mhm.
what's
Yeah, you're right.
acceptable.
Makes sense. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much.
You're welcome, Marcus. And I put in the chat so you can definitely link up if you wanted to. You're doing amazing. Benisa, is there anybody else that wanted to? We went over by 6 minutes, but anybody else before we close out?
I think we are well over time. I just don't want to keep you guys any longer. We can maybe do a follow-up session like a month or 2 months from now, maybe, if you guys will be willing to do it, and then we can revisit some of the points. I do have one question to close, if you guys are open to share. What is your highest listing to date?
Absolutely. Sure. Go right ahead, Linda. What you have for your listing?
My house right now is 3.7.
Mine right now, I have 1.5, 1.5. So 1.5 at the moment.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's it from my end. Thank you guys so much. I think this was really informative for everyone. I'm seeing some amazing reactions in the chat here and hoping we can do a follow-up pretty soon.
Wonderful. Have an amazing day, everyone. We look, Linda, thank you again. Marcus, everybody, thanks, and we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you.